YouTube? Robert here. Couple of things. So this is an extra video. Um, Sorry, moving you. This is an extra video. Some of you have requested that I do like Q&A kind of thing, so you guys can get to know me a little bit better. So that is what I'm doing today. Today's Monday. I don't have to be at work for a little bit, so I figured I'd do this real quick so I can get it up, and then I'm going to do my normal Monday car vlog and then get that up tomorrow, Tuesday. Anyway, a couple of things. So I am doing Mania. I will post pictures in Mania as well as on my Instagram for what I've done today so far, since today's the first day. And then I have a correction. I think I've said, I don't know if it was on here, or I know I've said it on, I think, Mania and a couple of other groups on Facebook, I think, that I use MCG for a lot of my even weaves. That is not 100% true. Most of my even weaves I have discovered through searching through my stash and things for Mania, that it's actually by Charles Craft. I do have a few even weaves that are MCG. I think the Queen Fairy is on MCG even weave in the color Mushroom. And that one's working okay, so no complaints there. But I wanted to clear that out, that a lot of my even weaves are Charles Craft by DMC, because I can find that easily without going to an LNS or ordering online. Now that's out of the way. So I'm going to do, this isn't necessarily floss tube related, so if you're looking for floss tube, you can click away, go visit some of my other videos, and I'll link my playlist for floss tube down below. But this is a get to know me tag for YouTube, get to know me YouTube tag. I'll post that link down below, so if any of you floss tubers or YouTubers would like to participate, you are more than welcome to. Because this has a bunch of, I think it's like 25 questions that should help you guys get to know me a little bit better. Anyway, so without further ado, I think I've talked more than enough. Let's get on to the tag. What is your middle name? My middle name is William, so I'm Robert William Frampus Fry. Share your favorite subject in high school. My favorite subject in high school was actually, I took a interior, well, it was supposed to be interior design class. We focused mostly on the basics, so we learned about, I keep messing with the mic, I am sorry. Anyway, so we focused mostly on the types of structures. So we talked about Spanish houses, Spanish Revival. We talked about colonial, Georgian. We talked about all those different types of houses and those sorts of things. We didn't get too much into the actual interior design kind of aspect. And when I took it, it was my senior year, and it was a fairly new class, and they had just released or they were getting ready to just release part 2 to the class, but they didn't get that released until after I graduated, so I didn't get a chance to take that, unfortunately. But so that was my favorite subject, was pretty much anything to do with arts, so fiber arts, sewing, that kind of thing. Second favorite, more practical, would be English. I really liked English and reading and all that kind of stuff. What is my favorite drink? Well, That depends on the day and what I'm doing and all of that kind of stuff. If I'm hanging out with friends and we're out at a bar or something, a lot of times I'll have like a Bud Light or whatever. If I'm like today, I'm going to work and I need me my energy. Usually I get this one called Venom, but the store I was at today didn't have Venom, so I just got regular Monster. Um, Otherwise, I drink coffee, but it has to be cold, so iced coffee with cream and sugar. Um, or RC Cola, Pepsi Cola, Coke, all of that kind of stuff. Um, what is your favorite song at the moment? So right now, my favorite song, would have to be. I'd have to say "Million Reasons" by Lady Gaga. Um, she performed it at the halftime show for the Super Bowl. Um, I'd have to say that's my favorite right now. What would you do, or have you named your children? I don't have any children, but I've always wanted to name if I had a little boy at some point, because I do want kids. If I had a little boy, I wanted to name him Xavier Michael. Um, a little girl, I don't know. To be quite honest, I don't know what I'd name her. Um, yeah, I don't know on that. But Xavier Michael's kind of stuck with me since high school for some reason, and I don't know why. Have you participated in any sports? Yes and no. I'm not a huge sports person. I don't like playing sports or whatever. But I did when I was a kid. I played in t-ball. I played basketball. Um, I did karate for a little bit. But again, I never stuck with any of them because I'm not a sports person. I like watching it, but I'm not a participator of sports. What is your favorite book? I don't have one specific favorite type of book or one favorite book. I'd have to say it depends. I like the Hunger Games series. I like Harry Potter. I like The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, and I like Twilight. All of those series. And I tend to stick with kind of those little genres or whatever. But I don't have a one particular favorite book. Oh, Invisible Monsters, Chuck Palahniuk, probably butchered his last name. That was a really good book. Chuck Palahniuk, I think is how you say it. I'll link down below if I find it. If I don't, sorry. I'll try to write it out down below if I can't find a link. But that was a really good book. He's the author of Fight Club, and I forget what else, but Fight Club I think is his most famous works, if that makes any sense. What is your favorite color? My favorite color is actually blue. I like all shades of blue, so I don't have one specific shade of blue that I like. I like them all. What is your favorite animal? If we're talking house pets, I would say dogs. Dogs are my favorite. I've got two. Um, if we're not talking house pets, I would say probably monkeys. I like monkeys. What is your favorite perfume? Ooh, that's a good one. There's a couple of them. I like Lady Gaga's Fluid Black, I think is what it's called. It comes in this kind of like tear shaped kind of jar, and then the top looks like a little claw going down, like the lid. I like that, and then I like Gucci's. I think it's Gucci Pour Homme for men. Used to have that a long time ago, and I used to have a little jar of it. It's probably in a box. Um, but I think those are both my favorites. What is your favorite holiday? I don't have one specific favorite holiday. I like Christmas and I like Halloween. Those are my two favorites. On a scale of 1 to 10, rate your childhood. This was kind of tough for me. I had a really good childhood up until I was 14, I think of 14. And then my parents started getting divorced, and my mom kind of went on off her rocker, and um, my sister and I kind of had to grow up really quick. And then I spent some time in an inpatient hospital, which is a whole nother story. If you want to see a story about that, you can ask me down in the comments. So because of all of that, I'd say I'd rate it a 5, I think. Like I said, the early years up until 14 was pretty good, and then from 14 on was not that great. Have I ever been out of the country? No. I would like to, but I've never traveled outside of the US. Do I speak different languages? Sort of, not really. I'm not fluent. I know quite a bit of sign language, but I'm not fluent. I don't know enough to hold an actual fluent conversation with somebody in sign language. With the current work that I do, I work with adults with disabilities. We have a lot of individuals that are either deaf or they are considered nonverbal because they can't produce speech like we can. And so a lot of times we'll use sign language if they can do some of the basics. Sometimes they can't even do the basics, so they'll have different signs that mean something specific for them. And so you have to learn those things. So I know a little bit. I know enough to kind of understand, but I don't know enough to kind of appropriately converse with somebody in sign language. So primarily English, and then, like I said, a little bit of sign language, enough to understand, but not really to speak back to the person in sign language. Do I have any siblings? Yes. There is 5 of us between my mom and my dad, and then we have a stepbrother, and I am the oldest of everybody. I'm the oldest person, oldest sibling. And so it ranges from me. I'm 28. I'll be 29 this August, and goes all the way down to the youngest. Will be 16. Oh God, 16 in July. So kind of crazy. There was a big age gap. So my parents had my sister and I 18 months apart. So I'm 18 months older than she is. And then there was, I think it was a 10-year gap between my sister and my middle brother. And then my parents wanted to have one more for my middle brother so he didn't grow up alone, and ended up having twins. So the twins are going to be 16 in July. And then my middle brother is going to be, Lord help us, 18 this year. But anyway, so there's that. What is your favorite store? That depends on what I am shopping for. I really like the Coach store. Everybody's so friendly at the Coach store. I used to buy a bunch of stuff from them. Haven't been able to. Been going through some financial difficulties, if you will. Continue to go through those, but I'm working my way through it slowly. So hopefully here pretty soon I'll be able to get out of those financial situations. So Coach was always a fun one to go into. They were always so friendly and nice, and um, they knew my name, which tells you a lot. I was in there quite a bit. If it's arts and crafts, I really like Michaels or Joann's. Um, for cross stitch, I tend to go to Joann's more than Michaels. Um, Michaels doesn't have a whole lot for cross stitch. Um, but yeah, I tend to go to Joann's a little bit more. Um, excuse me. I am looking at hopefully getting a sewing machine so then I can start selling project bags and giving away project bags for giveaways and things. Um, but that's slow going. I found one that I liked at Michael's actually that was just a super basic thing, and it was $50. And then the next one up was 100. So I'm looking at those two, but I gotta save up that coin. Um, anyway, what is your favorite restaurant? Again, this depends on my mood. I like Subway. I know I shouldn't, but I do. Or Mr. Good Sense. Mr. Good Sense is really good for toasted subs. Um, I like IHOP, and I like, we have this place here in Kansas City. Not so much on the Missouri side. I think the only one that I know of on the Missouri side is down on the plaza, but mostly in Kansas where I work. There's this chain of restaurants called Pie 5, and what they are is they're kind of like a Subway, but they do pizza, salad, dessert pizza, all of that kind of stuff. And they're really good. I love them. Do I like school? Yes and no. Sometimes I get bored. Like in high school, I would get bored of subjects because we'd spend like a week or whatever it is on one particular subject, and I'd get bored, and so I'd stop turning in my homework and all of that kind of stuff because I was just bored. But all of my tests were B's or above, so it was clear I understood the material. I was bored. What are some of your favorite YouTubers? Now, this depends on what I am looking for. I really like Joey Graceffa. Well, a lot of his gaming videos are actually very entertaining to watch. I am a gamer myself. I like to play Minecraft. I haven't in a while. I need to log on to the multiplayer servers. There's a couple of them that I use. But I need to log on and say hello, see how everybody's doing, because, oh Lord, it's been probably at least 3 months, if not more. So I like Joey Graceffa. I even like his vlogs. Some of his vlogs are very entertaining, and I like seeing what he's up to. Then I like Coffee Stitcher, Ginger Gerald, Vana. I mean, there's so many to mention. There's a whole community. I mean, I could talk for hours about all the different YouTubers that I like, but I'm not gonna go into that. So there's a lot. I don't have one specific favorite YouTuber. So I guess the big ones that I can think of off the top of my head is Joey Graceffa, Vana, Pfeiffer, Ginger Gerald, Stitcher, Coffee Stitcher. I used to like Trisha Paytas, and then here recently, all of the drama kind of. I haven't watched much of her videos because a lot of them are clickbait or drama filled, and I left that behind when I graduated high school. So those are the main ones that I can think of off the top of my head. I mean, there's obviously several others. I have quite an extensive list of YouTubers that I watch. I even have 2 YouTube accounts. One of them I use to watch a lot of YouTubers, and then this one that I post on, I watch some as well, but I don't have quite the list of subscriber or people that I'm subbed to as I do on my other account. Anyway, that was a long drawn out answer for that one, wasn't it? What is your favorite movie? I don't have one particular favorite movie. I actually have Netflix, so I watch a lot of movies. The Harry Potter, all of those movies were awesome. Twilight, they were awesome. Lord of the Rings, they were awesome. The Batman trilogy, the new version, those were all awesome. Yeah, I can't think of one specific favorite movie. I like all kinds, pretty much. What are some of your favorite TV shows? Now, again, this also changes. I like Criminal Minds. I've watched all the episodes that Netflix has, which is quite a bit. I just started watching and finished this series called 13 Reasons Why. I think it's called 13 Reasons Why, or just 13 Reasons. I can't remember, but it's on Netflix. That was pretty good. That's all I can think of off the top of my head. I've watched so many TV shows. It's not even funny. PC or Mac? For work, I have to use PC, and for home, I prefer Mac. I actually am using my MacBook Pro. This is from 2010, mid 2010, I believe, and it's still running like a champ. It's got 16 gigs of memory. I think it was a 1 terabyte or 500 gigabyte hard drive. I can't remember. And then I have a little external hard drive that I plug in and put like my music and stuff on. What phone do I have? I have a iPhone 6. I like it. It's got 64 gigs memory, and I really like it. I want to get iPhone 7, but again, gotta have that coin before I can do that. But this one works pretty good, and that's actually what I film all of my videos on, is on my phone, using the front-facing camera, if you can believe it. How tall are you? This depends. I've been to different doctor's offices and whatever, and they'll say that I'm 6'2". Then I go to another one and they're like, you're 6 foot, and then I measure myself at home and it's 6'1", but then I measure myself again a few months later and I'm 6'1.5". Like, it depends. What I tell everybody, and I think what's on my driver's license is 6'2". I don't know. Anyway, and then last but not least, we're at the last one. Is, do you have any pets? And the answer is yes. I have 2 dogs. I've got a black lab mix. I don't know what he's mixed with, but he's got a very thin body. He's very thin. Not like deathly thin. I mean, he eats all the time, so it's just, that's how his genetics are with whatever he's mixed with. And his name is Milo. And then I have a Pomeranian, purebred Pomeranian, who is Ozzy. And the Pomeranian runs the show. Even with us, myself and my husband, Pomeranian runs the show, and he'll let you know. But anyway, that is it. I will see you in my car vlog, and then on Friday. I'll hopefully try to update Instagram and the Stitch Mania group with all of my Mania projects. I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing. I don't think I'm going to do 15 new starts. That's just too much for me, I think. So without further ado, if you like this video, comment, rate, subscribe, share it with your friends.